John, can we start with injuries and what is the latest with all the injuries that you've got?
I think Jay isn't as bad as what we thought. Tomorrow might come a bit too soon for him now. Joe Pritchard's progressing well. Toby and Liam are progressing well as well. Unfortunately, John McCracken's broke his arm, so that poses a bit of a problem for us. And Seb's starting Seb and Coley are starting to get a little bit of an improvement. I'm just trying to think of any long term. Dan Martin will be back in. It was just the concussion protocol. Right. One thing you know about Dan is Dan never goes down injured. So if Dan comes off, there's a problem, and there's no way on earth Dan would not want to train or play. So it's nice to have Dan back in.
Obviously, that prompts the question about goalkeeping. First of all, Toby Savin, how soon might he be back in first team action? We're
not sure. We're open 4 to 6 weeks, but you can't. It might be quicker than that. It might be later than that. I don't know. But you know, what you can't do is you can't rush it back. You know, we don't want to recur into the injury. So, well, we'll have to wait and see how that takes its toll.
John McCracken goes back to Norwich, I guess, for his treatment. A blow for you, given that you had him on emergency loan week on week.
Yeah, he's done really well, John. Great character, great around the place. He'll be missed around the place, that's for sure. And I wish him a speedy recovery.
What do you do now? Jack McIntyre obviously comes into the frame. Is he ready?
Well, Jack's been playing in the EFL Trophy games anyway, so that he would have played tomorrow anyway. And then we'll assess the situation as the week goes on.
And your under-18 goalkeeper comes onto the bench, is that
that's
right?
Correct, yeah.
So that's a situation where Jack McIntyre has the position now for this foreseeable until Toby Savin.
Well, for this game. Right? For this
game. It's the first time we've spoken to you since the Swindon game. What was your take on it? I guess the spirit of your team shone through in the end, but you just didn't quite get the result.
Well, when you watch it on the video, you know, you can see how much they had the bit between the teeth. I think they felt a little bit wronged in the game. You know, some of the decisions didn't quite go our way. And, you know, we don't want to be these moaning minis. You know, I mean, it's been well documented over the years. It's not sinister, it's just coincidental, but a lot of them seem to stack up against us. And, you know, if you go back to the other night, 5 minutes in, Sean Morley should have had a penalty shot blocked by the lad's arm. Everyone agrees that it's a foul on Ross, you know, so that leads to the second goal. That also leads to Seamus getting boots. And I'm not condoning dissent, you know, but it's hard to take when you see blatant things happen. And then Ross shouldn't do what he does when he gets the foul a minute later, then he claps the ref, so he shouldn't do that. You know, and John gets booked for pulling the crossbar down, which, you know, you can't do. So, you know, we're getting niggly bookings that we should avoid. You know, I've got myself sent off at half time. I should know better. So, you know, I've got no excuses. It's just that you get frustrated because, you know, it's a key moment of the game, and if the foul gets given, which it should get given, which it is given a minute later for the same incident, the whole complex of the game could have been different. It wasn't, and you know, we ended up with, it would have been the greatest comeback in history, I think. If Brad Hill scores with the header at the end, it would have been the greatest hat-trick evermore. But the thing that really was remarkable was, if you watch on the video, when we make it 4-1 in the 92nd minute, Brad Hills is, because he knows he's playing 9, Brad Hills runs to get the ball out the net and sprints back and puts it on the centre spot. And then he was like a man possessed. After that, you know, he ended up playing up front, and he was unbelievable. 2 great finishes. He should have done better with the header. Having got there, you know, it was an unbelievable leap. And if he doesn't miscue it as much as what he does, Ben Woods is tapping it in. And Coley would be very disappointed having an open goal, and you know, he hasn't realised he has an open goal. He's tried to make sure by getting the ball under control, he didn't want it the first time, and you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If he spoons that over the bar, you know, everyone's saying, oh, why you have a touch? You can't win. But it was just disappointing because it would have been a dramatic end. I don't think at any stage we deserve to be 4-0 down in the game, but things like that happen. And I've been in football long enough to know that events can conspire against you. So we've got to take heart from that second half performance and some of the first half performance. You know, we are passing the ball better. The remarkable thing, a big driving factor about data at the moment is expected goals. And if you go back and you look at Tuesday night's games, our XG was way above any other team in the league, and we've lost the game. So we can take a little bit of comfort from that, a little bit of comfort in the fact that we're making chances. We've got to start taking them, and we've got to keep them out the other end.
You mentioned Brad Hills. I know he's been a successful loan signing for you already. Did he set the example in that moment? Is that what you want to see from your players? That desire when it looks like a lost cause?
Without a doubt. And you know, there is a lot of spirit in that dressing room. And I know the players, you know, felt it after the game. But you know, there's still a lot of football to be played, still a lot of points to be won. You know, and we've got a home game tomorrow and Saturday, and we've got to try and get back on that winning streak that we know we're capable of. We know we're a good side. If you need a little bit of luck along the way, and you know, I've been saying this over the weekend, that I see little things that hinge on games that, you know, and a lot of them is a bounce of ball, a lot of them is a decision. You know, I watched Preston on Friday night, and I don't know whether you watched the Preston game, so you're there. So you know, their centre forward, QPR centre forward, gets booked just before half time. When you see the replay, it should be a red, and if they have VAR, it would have been a red. And so that doesn't get given. If that does get given as a red, the whole complex of the game changes. I watched Liverpool yesterday, and Liverpool's fourth goal, 9 times out of 10 he gives a foul for the challenge on their defender. It doesn't get given, and the ball's in the net. And you need them little moments that go for you. And you need, you know, if you go back to when we beat Wrexham, Paul Mullen hits the bar in the first half, that goes in, it's a different game. It's a totally different game. And so you just need little things to align for you. Now, you can't just rely on that and just hope that things go for you. You've got to do something about it. You've got to play the game the way you know that is best to get the maximum out of what you've got for the squad, and you've got to adhere to that, and the players have got to buy into what you're trying to do, and then you've got to have a big spirit, a big heart, a big desire, you know, a big drive coming from everybody at the club, you know, not just the players, the fans, everybody, all of the staff, everything. Everyone who's connected with the club has got to be driving forward, and if you get that, special things can happen, as we've proved time and time again here. And this is a special club, and probably a unique club. I don't think many clubs will have the heart that we have, that the family feeling that we have, the connection with the fans that we have, the connection with the community. So, and you know, our lads, all we can do is try and point them in the right direction, and then hope that the stars align for us. When we get it right, and you know, we've still got a lot of games to get them right.
Obviously, one of the things that's been well documented this season is your relationship with the owner, Andy Holt. I know last week you said you hadn't spoken about January, but do you know what you'd like to do in January? Well,
at some point, you know, I'm not being jealous about this. At some point, we're going to have dialogue. You know, we're going to have to see what our targets are, see what we're capable of doing, and do what's best for the club. Because, you know, ultimately the business comes first, the organisation comes first. You know, it's not about individuals, it's about the organisation. And, you know, we're in a situation now where we know we've got a decent enough team. Can we make that better, or can we consolidate? You know, the first priority this season was not to fall through the top 12. We're not away from that yet. And that's still the primary focus. You know, we've got to avoid that top 12 of not going through the divisions and going out the league, because, you know, with the money Andy Holt's invested in the club and how well he's drove the club forward, it couldn't take the hit, I don't think, of going out the Football League. So that's the main priority.
As you get closer to the end of your contract, how would you like things to play out, so to speak?
Well, you know, that's none of my hands. How I'd like things to play out is us to win games, because that's all I focus on. And it should be known, that's all I've ever focused on. I want to win games. I've had this drive in me since I was a kid that I wanted to win. And particularly in football, it's a strange feeling that it's a knot in your stomach that never ever gets satisfied. You know, you'd always want more. You'd always want to do better. And we've, you know, if you look back over the years, over the last 5 or 6 years, and then you compare that to maybe 15, 16, 20 years ago, we could only be dreaming about playing the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland, Derby, Ipswich in league games, but not just playing them, competing with them. And so when we were doing that, the drive didn't go out of me that I was just happy to be there. I wanted to win, wanted to beat them. And I think that'll be with me till the day I die. So I've got no thoughts about what happens in regard to my own position. My whole focus is on just trying to win the next game and getting that little bit of buzz from winning it, and then go on to the next game, and then go on to the next game, and then go on to the next game. And if that then goes into next season, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I just want to win games, and that will never, ever, ever leave me. Well, I hope it doesn't, because if it does leave me, I think then I should retire or find something else to do.
If things were in your control, would you want to stay here for the rest of your career?
Well, everyone knows that my connection with this club, so that's not for me to say. All I know is that while I'm here, I want to win, and I want our players to perform to the best of their ability. Now, you can't win every game, but you know, I've had quite a few conversations with the players over the years. So you can't guarantee success. No one can guarantee success. Even the people who throw loads and loads of money at it can't guarantee success. So how can you define the parameters of success so you can guarantee success? Well, there's a few that you can bring in straight away. You can work as hard as you possibly can, so you can push yourself to your actual limit physically on the pitch. So that you can achieve. You can either choose to do it or you don't. You can have yourself in such a positive mindset that you're going to encourage people, and you're going to try your best to motivate everybody around you to do their best. And you can keep doing that for 90 minutes, 98 minutes, 100 minutes. So that's 2 ticks that you can get straight away. So if you can come in with them 2 ticked off and say, well, I can guarantee that's going to be a success, because that's within our remit. That's something we can do. So them 2. Now, if you keep doing that and you keep getting them right, and you keep saying, well, we'll be success. We'll be a success, yeah, because we knew we could. If you keep doing that every week, you've got a good chance of being successful, because you get them 2 right, lots of things will follow in your place. If you don't get them right, then you're letting yourself down for not being successful. So you can move the parameters and make sure you can guarantee success. So they're the first things you should do. And once you get them right, which is the basics, hopefully other things follow.
Yeah. One thing that did bring you success last year was the Football League trophy. You almost got to Wembley. Now you're in the knockout stages. How do you approach this game against Lincoln?
Every time we play in this tournament, we want to win the game. I've still upset not beating Notts Forest. So, you know, that we can't approach it any differently than we approach every game we play. I was laughing actually. I was speaking to Danny Ventry, an old player of ours, the other day. And
that's a blast on the past.
And he was laughing about. I told him off for doing a bad tackle in a friendly against Blackburn, and I said, well, you know, we're mindful of the fact that they mightn't come back if we start kicking their players. And he said, but there's no such thing as friendlies, Gaffer. You instilled that into us. And he's right.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to play football on a competitive level. Hopefully you can stay within the rules and be aggressive enough to impose yourself on the opposition. But it did get brought home to me that yesterday when he said that to me, that there is no such thing as that. You've got to go out and do your best every time. Be the best version of yourself all the while.
Just one final point, John. Given you're suspended, where do you sit?
I don't know. I'll have to seek clarification of that.